Right now, as you're reading this, your money is losing value, and you cannot see it happening. $200 sits in your bank account. Today, it has value. 6 months from now, that same $200 will not buy what it does today. Why? Because new money entered the system somewhere else. Someone spent it before prices adjusted. You are receiving it after prices already rose. This is the Cantillon Effect, and once you understand it, every paycheck will look different. Most people think inflation affects everyone the same way. Prices go up, everyone pays more, the burden is shared. But this is not how the mechanism works. When new money enters the system, it does not appear in everyone's account at once. It flows through specific channels in a specific order, and that order determines who wins and who loses. The people who receive new money first can spend it before prices adjust. The people who receive it last watch prices rise before their income catches up. One group buys assets at yesterday's prices. The other group pays tomorrow's prices with yesterday's wages. This is a timing problem built into how money moves through an economy. When new money is created, it enters the financial system first. Banks and financial institutions receive access before prices change. A house still costs $300,000. A car still costs $30,000. But these institutions now have access to freshly created capital. They invest before prices adjust. They acquire real estate, stocks, and other assets while the broader market has not yet reacted. By the time prices rise to reflect the new money supply, they already own the appreciating assets. Here is how this works in practice. A financial institution receives $10 million in newly created capital. A commercial property is listed at $5 million. The institution purchases it immediately. 3 months pass, the new money circulates through the economy. Prices begin adjusting. That same property is now valued at $6 million. The institution gained $1 million without creating any value. No renovation happened, no new tenants moved in. The gain came purely from timing. The money then moves outward. Banks lend to investment firms. Investment firms allocate to corporations. Corporations use the capital for stock buyback or acquisitions. Executive compensation tied to stock performance increases without corresponding productivity gains. Real estate investors purchase properties at current prices. 3 months later, those properties are valued significantly higher. No new housing was created. The price simply adjusted to reflect the new money in circulation. Meanwhile, workers arrive late to this sequence. Salaries adjust slowly, if they adjust at all. By the time wage negotiations reflect the new economic reality, prices have already risen. Rent increases 15%, grocery costs jump 20%. The feeling of falling behind is the mathematical outcome of arriving last in the money flow sequence. The lag between when new money enters and when wages adjust creates a specific window. A worker earning $60,000 annually saves 10%. That is $6,000 in savings. If the money supply expands 20% while their salary stays flat, their real purchasing power drops to $48,000. They did not spend recklessly. The sequence moved their position backward. Meanwhile, an asset owner with $300,000 in real property sees their holdings rise to $360,000. Same expansion, opposite outcome. One person lost $12,000 in real terms. The other gained $60,000. The difference is position in the flow. This wealth gap creates a behavioral trap. The worker who lost purchasing power cannot afford to take risks. They cannot leave their job to start a business. They cannot negotiate aggressively for higher pay because they need stability. Their declining position forces them into more conservative behavior, which locks them further into the wage system. Meanwhile, the asset owner gains flexibility with each gain. They can afford to take risks. They can wait for better opportunities. Their growing wealth creates optionality. The sequence does not just transfer money, it transfers freedom. This explains why wealth concentration accelerates during monetary expansion. When the money supply expands rapidly, but flows first to those who already own assets, asset prices rise faster than wages. The stock market reaches record highs. Real estate values surge. but median income stays relatively flat. Wealth moves from those who trade time for income to those who own appreciating assets. The mechanism is structural. During recent periods of aggressive monetary expansion, the wealth of the top fraction increased dramatically. The bottom half saw minimal gains. Real wages have remained stagnant over decades. Someone working today earns roughly the same inflation-adjusted income as someone decades ago, but the cost of housing, education, and healthcare has multiplied. It is because their position in the money flow sequence has not changed. When the money supply increases tenfold, but wages do not keep pace, purchasing power shifts. Those who own assets benefit from rising nominal values. Those who rely on wages see their buying power erode. If you receive new money before prices adjust, you gain. If you receive it after, you lose. The speed of this process matters. In the past, new money took months to circulate fully. Workers had time to negotiate raises before their buying power eroded. But digital money systems move instantly. A policy decision creates trillions in hours. Asset prices react within days. By the time a worker realizes their rent increased, the wealth transfer has completed. Those positioned early capture gains in days. Those positioned late lose ground before they can react. This pattern is visible in housing markets. Decades ago, a median home cost roughly 3 times the median annual income. Today, that same ratio is closer to 8 times in major markets. It is not because construction became more expensive or land became more scarce. It is because new money flowed into real estate before wages adjusted. Investors and institutions with early access to capital purchased properties. Each purchase raised comparables. Each comparable justified higher prices. By the time workers saved enough for a down payment, the target had moved. The money they saved lost value, while the assets they wanted gained value. The gap widened automatically. Central banks can create trillions of dollars with a policy decision. The money moves through the financial system at electronic speed. The sequence remains the same. Financial institutions first, asset owners second, wage earners last. Even systems designed to operate outside traditional banking follow similar patterns. Early participants benefit from being first. Those who arrive later pay higher prices for the same access. Timing determines advantage. Understanding this does not instantly change your position in the sequence, but it removes the illusion that the pressure is entirely personal. Wealth accumulates at the entry point. It dilutes by the time it reaches the end. If you are paid in wages, you are positioned at the end of the sequence. If you own assets, you are positioned closer to the beginning. This is about where you sit in the money flow. Money is not neutral. It is a mechanism that transfers value based on access timing. Every time new money enters circulation, purchasing power redistributes. It moves from those furthest from the entry point to those closest. While one group waits for the system to adjust, the system adjusts their reality. Purchasing power declines. Housing becomes less affordable. Savings depreciate in real terms. The pattern is consistent. It has operated this way for centuries. And now that the mechanism is visible, the question is whether you see it clearly enough to recognize where you are positioned. The flow determines the outcome. The sequence creates the result. Understanding that is the beginning of seeing the game as it actually operates.